Hi, this is Eileen Gonzalez with Life According to Me. So I want to talk about the resume. And the reason for that is because you know that I've spoken to you several times regarding the interview process itself. But I've seen that there are several people, and not several, there's many people that are highly qualified for a position. But the resume that they send is prepared poorly. And because of that, they don't have an opportunity to be seen. And I want to help you with that. I want to make sure that with these tips that I'm going to give you, hopefully this can help you prepare your resume in a way that you can actually get yourself into that office. One thing that I want to share with you, and I'm sorry, I'm just standing here in my living room. One thing that I want to share with you is that your resume has to capture all the work that you've done that's relevant to where you're going. So I know that there are times, especially when we're young, that we have several jobs, and these jobs are just fillers. They're basically there just so that we can go ahead and make some money. So I understand that you want to add that because it takes care of the gaps, but if you see that your resume is going to be too lengthy, chances are you don't need to fill in the gaps. Better yet, just understand why those gaps so that you can speak to them. But if your resume is not lengthy, then go ahead, add those jobs. But what I want you to do is those jobs that are definitely relevant to where you're going in your career, I want you to have enough bullet points so that you can pique our interest. But I don't want you to give us so much that it's overkill and then we don't have anything to speak about. Remember, save the best for when you're sitting across from your interviewer, because that's going to allow us to have an effective conversation. It's going to allow us to be able to speak about your experiences and actually get to see a little bit more about you. Prepare that resume, make sure the information is relevant, make sure that it's current, give us enough to pique our interest, don't overkill. All those extras that you feel that are of value, make sure that you have them written down, because you're going to speak to those once you're in front of the interviewer. One thing that I want to tell you about my resume is that my resume, I see it as a work in progress. And the reason for that is because every time that I learn something new, I add it to my resume. Because at the end of the day, if I'm ever ready to move on, I'm not going to remember everything from the top of my head. But once it's in my resume, once it's documented, I know that I can elaborate on that. So make sure that you're always keeping that resume accurate, that it's always current. And please feel free to ask me any question underneath the video because I'm here to help you. So once that resume is completely accurate, that it has all the gaps have been addressed, even if it's not there, but at least you know that you can speak to them, now I want you to prepare a cover letter. That cover letter is what's going to put the control back in your hands. Why do I say that? On the resume, you can have 3 to 4 pages, and you can have several jobs, and only one thing out of that resume is what you're looking to pursue in your career. You want that cover letter to showcase who you are. You want to introduce yourself. You want to showcase your experience, the value that you brought to the current job that you've had or maybe the prior job. But you also want to do it in a way that we can actually see why you would be an asset to our company. That cover letter puts the control back in your hands and takes away from getting lost in that resume. These two things are of a lot of value. And if it's done properly, it's going to allow you to get yourself in front of that interviewer. Another thing, research the company. Have questions for us. Now, these questions can be generic. These questions might not be relevant specifically to us, might be that these are questions that are interest for you. Whatever it is, come prepared with questions because you want to have a conversation. You want to have a dialogue. And that can only happen if you're prepared. And to be prepared, to feel like you own that interview, the resume and that cover letter are essential. I hope these tips help you. And if you have any questions, please post them below the video, and I promise you, I'll get back to you. Best of luck to you. Take care.